Hi, and welcome to today's EB-5 interview. I'm Trevor O'Neil with LA Life Regional Center. With the recent reboot of the U.S. EB-5 Immigrant Investor Program, investors are faced with the decision of choosing between rural and urban projects. To provide a comprehensive guidance, we've invited a seasoned immigration attorney, David Van Vooran from David Herson and Partners, to help delve into the multifaceted aspect of selecting an EB-5 project. Hello, David, and thank you for joining us today. With the EB-5 program, what are the significant advantages and potential challenges associated with rural versus urban projects?
Thanks, Trevor. Talking about the advantages and potential challenges of rural and urban projects, let's start with the challenge. So currently there is a allocation or a quota of 10,000 visas allocated to EB-5 per year, and of that 10,000, 20% are allocated towards rural projects and 10% are allocated towards urban projects. Just by that, you can see that there are more rural visas available. With that, there should be less of a chance of a backlog, although not even that's not guaranteed. So then it just becomes determination of, okay, if I have a good rural project, lower risk on the visa side, but it's kind of just balancing, is it a good real estate investment? Is it a good decision on the investment side? Whereas on an urban project, maybe urban usually would be safer in real estate investment terms, but you have that risk of the less visas for the urban project. So it's just kind of a balancing of the two.
Well, yeah, and that's a key point to consider, that a project may have a reserved visa available. However, the project itself might not be as safe as a project that's in an urban area, and thereby put the return of capital at risk if the project does not succeed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a balancing of the kind of the immigration, what you want to achieve on the immigration side versus what you want to achieve on the investment side and the financial side. Could be a situation where there's more rural visas, but in general, we usually, at least those in the real estate industry, would see rural projects as higher risk just based on the location, no other reason.
It is a balancing act for sure. So let me ask you on the timing of the visas. If an investor opts for an urban project rather than a rural project, and there are no more reserved visas available, how does that affect the timing of when they would obtain their visa?
So at the moment, the visas are available. So, and this also relates to if the investor is inside the US or outside of the US. But at the moment, if visas are available for both rural and urban categories, then technically there's no wait. It's just kind of the issue of, could there be a wait in the future? Based on the statistics we have, most likely urban will fill up first and followed by rural. Very hard to make specific predictions, but at the moment they're available. But in the future, most likely rural will have a less backlog than the urban projects.
And I know it may be difficult to say, but based on the available data that's been published, what are the industry professionals thinking would be the time when the reserved visas in each category are used up?
Most likely, we're not expecting any using up of visas this year. If it happens, it would be next year. Most likely urban would be used up first, followed by rural. Still complicated, even when they do get used up, then just a very small back that then gets, for lack of a better term, whittled down. But yeah, so even if a backlog, that's not necessarily the end of the year, because it could be a very short backlog. Basically, just a lot of factors and variables that will make the final picture clear.
Do we have any indication whether or not new reserve visas will become available once the existing allocation has been used up?
So every year there's that 10,000 allocation. Sometimes if all the visas aren't used up in one year, they do roll over to the next. But yeah, very complicated, a lot of statistics involved. I would just say, make the decision. We do have some statistics out, very valuable, honestly. Not the full picture, but what we do know is very valuable. What exactly happened next year and the next, no one is entirely sure.
Yeah, so it sounds like timing is key. And as you had stated, at this moment in time, there are reserve visas available in both the rural and the urban high unemployment area projects. And so those who are interested in making an EB-5 investment, time is of the essence to get your reserve visa while you can.